Bank is...
Tonight in CVM News at 7, JUTC ticketing system down. Commuters hit by delays. Manchester police lift curfew after suspect's death. Councillor demands probe into government's roofs program. Stakeholders highlight domestic violence concerns amid recent tragedies. In international news, Israeli strikes on Beirut. And later on in sports, Jamaica replying strongly to Barbados' 348 in regional four-day game. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Sunday, April 12, 2026. I am Curlin Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. Commuters who use JUTC buses were met with delays on Sunday. CVM News understands many of the buses were forced to park because of problems with the ticketing system.
Of JUTC buses parked at the Portmore Depot in St. Catharines Sunday. As CVM News understands, the state company's ticketing system is down on a number of buses. Sources sharing videos with our newsroom. Drivers have long complained the system malfunctions and is problematic. The news also comes on the heels of close to a dozen drivers being investigated for embezzlement over an alleged ticket fraud scheme at the entity. Now, as the day progressed, in what appeared to be an internal memo by General Manager Neville Francis, drivers of buses with machine glitches were told to transport passengers free of cost. CVM News spoke with some commuters impacted by the initially reported delays at the Halfway Tree Transport Centre. For many who spoke, long wait is a feature of the service. Few saw any correlation with the carnival activities in the city.
In the week, you get bus after that every 30 minutes, but on weekend, half hour for a bus. And on Sunday, worse. Sometimes not at all. You understand? So, not about the carnival where you can't bus now. It's just a habit. During the week, right along.
When you come and if you wait for a half an hour, it may be just because sometimes when you come the bus already leave, as well as none don't come as yet. But sometimes you come, you will see bus park, and the next time you don't see any. But I don't think the carnival have anything to do with it. It's just on a regular basis on a Sunday. That's how the bus is. Sometimes bus is here, sometimes they just leave, and sometimes none don't come as yet. That's it.
Many who heavily depend on the buses for their commute to and from Sunday services were left counting their blessings at the sight of the one or few which arrived at intervals.
It's really terrible, man, because waiting on a bus for so long. You know, we have to take the 32 that go down and I hit come back up. And I take if you come here, so come sit down again and still waiting on the bus and still can't see. Neither a 46 nor a 44. It's terrible. And I don't see where it's getting better, sir.
Their faith in the company's service is, however, dwindling.
Morning, noon and night, so we have to sit down and wait so long to get one bus and can't get one. That's it, sir.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Sitting in the transport center for about an hour and a half. I don't see no bus.
Concerns are being raised about the distribution of Hurricane Melissa relief funds under the government's roofs program, with allegations of discrepancies and delays affecting beneficiaries in Hanover. Kevin Black has more.
Councillor for the Lucy Division, Brian Chambers, says he has identified what he describes as serious irregularities in how the funds under the government's roof program are being dispersed.
One of the complaints that we are getting is that persons were selected to attend the opening function. They were given the check to stand with and their pictures were taken. To date, those persons haven't received any kind of funding from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security as yet.
Chambers further alleges that some beneficiaries who were assessed to receive up to $500,000 have only been paid a fraction of that amount, while others are still waiting.
I've seen persons receiving, there was a lady who received, well, her name was on the listing for $220,000, but when she actually got the benefit, she only got $75,000. So it's a lot of mix-up happening. I don't know where the error is from, or they made her take a picture of an amount which she was not supposed to get. But I know that lady, she totally lost her house and she only received $75,000.
The councillor is now urging the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, along with other relevant authorities, to launch an immediate probe into the matter to ensure transparency and fairness in the distribution process.
Something needs to be looked into about the situation. There are communities which we would consider as strong communities for the People's National Party. When I visit those communities, persons from those communities have not received any kind of relief as yet. And when I visit other communities, there are persons where half of the community has received.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
And it was a charged start to the Manchester Municipal meeting last week, with Mayor Donovan Mitchell taking a zero-tolerance approach to several issues, among them encroachment and illegal garages on parochial roads. Ahead of penalties, he issued a final warning.
Encroachment.
It's zero tolerance for the rest of this year and for the rest of the time I'm here. And if people feel that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, or they're taking some hard hands, well, there's a process that you can work on.
Primarily governed by the Limitations of Actions Act and Parochial Roads Act, these laws protect property rights and public thoroughfares. Municipal corporations, such as the Manchester Municipal Corporation, are authorized to issue notices and remove illegal building materials, structures, or developments from roads and private properties. A function the mayor intends to seriously carry out.
Aggregate, mall, block, and all of them. Stones and them stuff. I realize that a number of persons have dumped some of these on the roadways for months and even years. The Parochial Roads Act states that these are encroachment, and the council has an authority under the law to remove the encroachment.
The concern has also left complaints piling up on the mayor's desk.
Where you have aggregates or where you have encroached upon the roadways, please, it gives us also in the law that you can have a discussion with the superintendent of roads and works or his agents to discuss a timeline in which you can keep the aggregates on the road. If we are not finding persons, we're going to do what we have to do. The law says we can remove the aggregate or remove whatever is the encroachment and charge the persons. I'm getting too many calls. I'm getting too many letters.
He's issued a warning to councillors and the public pertaining to these breaches that have become more than an eyesore in some spaces.
You're driving on some roadways and people leave old cars on both sides of the roads. I am going to be having a discussion with SPM, or the National Solid Waste Management Authority, and we're going to be removing them. Persons who have garages operating on our roadways, be warned. We can't fix roads and afterwards people pull down engine and let out oil and damage the road surface and then they call tomorrow morning to say that road bad and road whatever it is. It cannot continue.
Still in Manchester, the police have shared fresh information about one of the parish's most wanted who died in Trelawney during a police operation. The commanding officer says the suspect had a litany of crimes spanning over a decade against his name and was true to his remarks, he'd not die without taking as many police with him.
St. Vincent district in southern Trelawney was where one of Manchester's most wanted criminals would meet his end. He died after a confrontation with police. But what many didn't quite understand was how it all unfolded and why his death brought his community in Manchester some relief. Superintendent Kerry Duncan shared the details at Thursday's municipal meeting.
We saw last week also that one of the parish's most wanted person was tracked based on our intelligence, and we tracked that person over into the Trelawney space, where we also had an encounter with him in some dense shrubbery, fierce firefight. As a matter of fact, I think he lived up to what he said that he would do. He did say that when he's confronted, he won't be going down easily, and his intention is to take as many police officers as he can with him.
The commanding officer says with superior gunpower and advanced training, the police were able to overcome the attack and neutralize the suspect, but not without injury. Superintendent Duncan then revealed a litany of offences against the suspect's name.
So he is oral coal. He is called Rasta or Pretty Ras. So he is from the Acton Bedi space, and he has a criminal history that spans some over a decade, and from as far back as 2016, he was charged with armed robbery, firearm-related offences, and in 2023, he was in custody at the Black River Police Station awaiting a charge of robbery with aggravation, and he escaped custody from the Black River Police Station. He was among, I think, a group of 8 persons. And since he have been out, he have been creating havoc in St. Elizabeth, Manchester and Trelawney.
Hall was also featured in incidents of rape and 2 murders in Manchester. His passing has lifted the curfew that was imposed on a Manchester community he was said to frequent.
With this man out of the picture, certainly we have looked back at the curfew over that space, and we have decided to lift the curfews over there so persons can go ahead and enjoy themselves. So it's just that, and I just want to say to the general public over in that space and other areas that we really appreciate their effort, because whilst they are impeded in somewhat where the curfews are concerned, most of them, when they reach out to the superintendent, they will say that, listen, we understand what you're doing and we appreciate what you're doing, and we are here to support you in what you're doing.
Kevin Black, CVM News.
Domestic violence continues to raise alarm across the island, with advocates and law enforcement stressing the need for a deeper look at the root causes and the response system in place. We go back to Kevin Black for more.
As Jamaica grapples with rising cases of domestic violence, advocates are raising concern about how deeply rooted attitudes may be fueling the crisis. Executive Director of E4Life, Joy Crawford, says the issue goes beyond culture and points to how society defines love and control.
I do believe that it is something that has been woven into the way that we think, the way that we have a certain level of acceptance of violence even before we get into the relationship. So we have this mindset that we don't know how to root harmony, collaboration and love in relationships.
Community development practitioner Milton Tomlinson says education is key to breaking the cycle, noting that many individuals who experience or witness violence often carry that trauma into their relationships.
Hurt people, right? And these things When people hear you say hurt people, they probably think that you meaning somebody box up somebody or beat up somebody. But person got hurt emotionally. My thing is to educate the masses. Talk about these things. We only talk about them when them happen. And we put them on headline when they become, when a gruesome situation.
Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Domestic Violence Intervention Unit, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Jacqueline Dillon, says the JCF has implemented a structured approach to handling these cases, with officers trained island-wide to treat reports with the seriousness and care they deserve.
The first thing we did was to train our internal customers who are our police officers. And I can tell you, we have trained a number of police officers in all divisions right across the island. And I can say confidently that prior to 2017, compared to now, our members have been treating domestic violence with the seriousness it deserves.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
Survivors of the 1963 Coral Gardens massacre, remembered as Bad Friday, received long-awaited land titles from the government of Jamaica. The move, announced under Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's administration, marks a significant step in reparative justice for the Rastafarian community. Here's more from Nika Lewis.
It was 1963. Fast forward to 2017, Prime Minister Andrew Holness formally apologized and described the atrocities committed by the state against the Coral Gardens Rastafarian community as an incident characterized by injustice, brutality, and repression. He deemed it a wrong that should never be repeated.
Cute Rasta, and that the Rasta crucifixion day, the bloody Thursday and the Bad Friday, when of innocent Rastas them slay, for the Coral Garden massacre someone must pay. A reparation time, there is no place to hide.
Holness tasked his government to make amends for the wrongs done to the Rastas on Good Friday, remembered as Bad Friday. In 2025, land titles finally handed over mark another significant step in the reparative justice process for the Rastafarian community. A milestone following years of advocacy by the Rastafari Coral Gardens Benevolent Society, which in 2016 presented 12 demands to the state. The government has since pumped millions into a trust fund established for victims and their descendants. A care home was also opened in Norwood St. James in 2021 to support the aging survivors.
We have paid, my brothers and sisters, over $130 million to the Rastafari Coral Gardens Trust Fund, which is being administered by the Administrator General for the survivors. And Sister Nani and Ras Brown, I can tell you, we have just deposited another 12 million to the account. In addition, as you know, we have been providing financial support towards the elders' home in Norwood until we're able to establish a permanent home for elders, for Rastafari elders who eat differently.
But there was more. Titles for lots 84A and B.
Finally, the titles were transferred in the name of the Rastafari Coral Gardens Benevolent Society. And it is our pleasure to do the handing over today.
Member of Parliament Dr. Horace Chang has been a staunch advocate for the group over the years and was on hand to share in their win.
When you hold this document as yours, no one can challenge it. You have certain privileges and rights. And that's what you'll have as you receive this document for lot 84A and B in Albion. This is an old housing estate by the government of the day, but you'll have two lots, 84A and B, in the name of the Benevolent Society, Coral Garden Society, which is your property. You'll fence it if you want. You can make it open, but the boundaries are clear. And when you're on that property, you're on your property, and you can set the rules governing who enter and who leave and what you do here in terms of the context of the community, because the residential community, but certainly you can do that.
More CVM News at 7 in just a moment.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are mash up the night. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Now, despite the ebb and flow and the weather challenges during the first quarter of the year, fishermen have been staying the course of living off the sea. We got more from a visit to a fishing village in the corporate area during what's considered a bite window.
April brings a rush to seaside fishing villages across the island. However, along a stretch in Kingston 13 just off Marcus Garvey Drive, the demand is particularly high for a special type of low-end fish that's a yearly luxury.
So we're at Greenwich Farm and things are heating up because a boat not too long coming with fresh sprat.
Yes. You don't fish too dear so them can't buy, so you buy a weight of sprat them can fry it and the whole family can share.
Kevin anchored his canoe in good spirits, unlike others who went out from as early as 5 a.m. and returned with empty nets.
Well, we go about 2 hours ago and we just spread them and put them in, shoot them, then we run with the net and we have to swim, tie on the buckle and get back the net, and then we just come inside and get them off. Picking them off now, try to get them sold.
So how far did you have to go? Because everybody know that it's Easter time and everybody wants sprat. Actually, some people say them can't get no sprat. So this is a lucky thing.
You get sprat today, and normally we don't have sprat on Easter because we hardly can find them. Right? So today is a lucky day that we go out and jobless to have our food.
Like the area which has had its own share of trauma, there are periods when the fishermen hit a snag.
During the year, we catch them a lot and we don't get sale for them like we don't really want to get it. Because enough time, we're here till 3-4 o'clock at night picking them off. Nobody to buy them, so you have to buy ice them up. In the morning, you don't get enough ice, some of them spoil, you have to throw them to the bird. You catch them, you don't get no buyer. We have to give the bird them, send them go town. We cannot stay and sell because out there selling, police are run with them. We have to run, hide with scale, so we're in a problem.
So your time now?
Well, so we have to give thanks to the time what we get now, and we get the fish, so we can shine.
Many youngsters are already spending hours at sea too, but they assured CVM News it's not a trade-off for school.
How far out do you go? What's the name of the area where you go to get this type of fish?
Okay, we can go as far as the cement company, flour mill, Harborview. On the dem side now you can go to get this problem right now.
While there's no control over the weather or the weight, Unfortunately, what's controllable hangs in the balance.
It's not every day we have this. So if you have 2 or 3 days and we raise the price, it won't be a big deal because it's not every day. Sometimes we catch a fish and we don't like sell it for 2,000 and we have to sell it for 1,000 because we have more than what we can sell.
Curlin Brown, CVM News.
And now we go to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers says government has been working to have the United Kingdom's visa requirements for Trinidad and Tobago's nationals overturned. The details from TTT News.
Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers says government has been working to have the United Kingdom's visa requirement for Trinidad and Tobago nationals overturned. Speaking in the lower house on Friday, Minister Sobers noted that the current administration did not stick when it came to dealing with that issue. He said the former administration did not do any follow-up on the matter.
As soon as we got into administration on May the 7th, a couple days after winning the election, myself, the Minister of Homeland Security, and the Minister of Defense had a meeting with the High Commissioner, and we got to work immediately. So there is no continuation of any work that was done before. There is new work that has started and work that will progress. And all of the waste of time and old talk that was being done before, the UK recognizes that Trinidad and Tobago under this administration is serious, and we will deliver.
And on the international scene, rescue workers in Beirut are continuing to search for bodies beneath the rubble 4 days after Israeli forces struck more than 100 sites across Lebanon in a 10-minute barrage. Al Jazeera has the latest.
It's been 4 days since the Israeli military launched a wide-scale attack on Lebanon, targeting more than 100 sites in a span of 10 minutes. One of the locations that was hit was here, a building in Hayas Silim. We are in the Lebanese capital where rescue workers are continuing to remove bodies under the rubble. More than 350 people have been killed. The number is expected to rise as more bodies are being pulled out of the rubble and unidentified bodies are in the morgues in hospitals as DNA testing continues. Since those strikes on Wednesday, there hasn't been any attack on Beirut and Beirut's southern suburbs. There is no formal commitment on the part of the Israeli military, but Israel is under pressure from the United States to de-escalate the conflict. Lebanon and Israel are set to hold their first direct meeting in Washington on Tuesday, but Lebanon continues to insist on a ceasefire before those talks can begin. And in southern Lebanon, there has been intense bombardment. In fact, in the past 24 hours, dozens of Israeli airstrikes with more civilian casualties.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Kevin Black.
Stay where you are. Orville Higgins is standing by with sports.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are march up the